Winning a complex B2B deal requires more than a strong pitch and a good relationship with the buyer. It requires a clear plan for how the entire decision will unfold. In this episode of Two Tall Guys Talking Sales, Kevin Lawson and Sean O'Shaughnessy explain how to map the buying committee, identify the people who influence the outcome, and build a sales hypothesis you can actually execute. You'll hear why the person placing the order is often not the person receiving the greatest value, and why ignoring the wider stakeholder network can quietly cost you the deal. Stay with us to learn how a simple deal plan can improve your odds of winning today and become the foundation for long-term account growth.
We're coming off of a season of World Cup games, and so a sports analogy fits here. And the sports analogy is this: it's the coach and the players as they're walking onto the field. I want you to picture yourself, maybe you watched a World Cup game, maybe you didn't, but there's this moment where all the players are from both teams walking onto the field. What do you think they're thinking about? Do you think that they just showed up and said, hey, this is another soccer game, I should probably tie my shoes tight, make sure I got my shin guards on and my shirt tucked in? Or do you think that they've come in and said, okay, I'm going to play this position that I know how to play, I know how to do, I know what I'm going to execute against from a game tactic strategy, but I also have watched enough game film and have an opinion about the person I'm going to defend against, or if I'm in an offensive position, how I'm going to attack their defense and how I think they're going to react. That's a game plan. In sales, we have deal plans. If you're not doing deal plans for your next deal, you're probably missing an opportunity to either close faster or more effectively, or you might even be increasing the chances that you're going to lose. So the topic for today is doing this one thing well that's going to ensure you have a higher likelihood of winning the deal and, by product of that, exceeding your quota.
This is a great topic because planning may not be inherently obvious to every salesperson that's listening to this. You may not be a planner in general. You may not plan your vacation. Your spouse does, your family does, and you don't do anything for that planning. You just show up and enjoy. But you are the quarterback. You are the quarterback of the team. Your job is to figure out what all of your teammates are going to help you do, but also what you're going to do. And you need to understand, how are you going to execute your job? So we say this because one of the challenges of not having a plan is you don't have a hypothesis that is written down. And let's be honest, if you don't write it down, you'll forget about it. You won't execute on it. You won't come back to it. There's an old saying that says, if it's not written, it's not real. So write down your hypothesis, your plan for what you're going to do. The people that are going to buy your product are looking to solve a problem. But who benefits from that? Is it the person that you actually are going to do the transaction with? That's great. You need to know that person. You need to understand how they're graded by their boss. You need to understand what's going on. So you need a plan of what you're going to talk to them about. But 9 times out of 10, and maybe it's 99 times out of 100, the person who's actually doing the transaction doesn't get the true benefit of that product. So if you're selling compressors, and I'm talking about HVAC compressors, so air conditioners, if you're selling compressors, the person that's buying it, they're doing the transaction. And they want to make sure they have a certain number of those in stock, readily available, whatever the case may be, depending on what you do. But the person who uses it is probably going to be the contractor that's going to install it. It's going to be the electrician that wires up to it. It's going to be the HVAC system that connects to it. All of those people are the people that are going to use it, but they actually don't get the benefit from it either. But they can actually call back to the buyer and say, don't ever buy that product again, because it was hard to wire up. It didn't work all the time. We don't always have the fuses available to plug into it. It's hard for us to maintain it. It doesn't really work well for us to hook up the HVAC sheet metal going out of it. It's hard to do. It doesn't mount well on the ceiling or on the roof, on the side of the house, whatever the case. It's hard to use. Don't buy that product anymore. Buy a different product instead. And they're still not the people who get the benefit of it. The person that gets the benefit maybe is the building company that is going to build that building, build that house. It's going to be the contractor. And they're not even the benefit of it either. End benefit is the person who's going to sit in that building and have a cool environment and is going to pay the electrical bill. And all of those people eventually have a say in buying your compressor. Are you talking to them? How do you influence them? What is your plan to make sure the electrician's happy? What is your plan to make sure the HVAC sheet metal contractor is happy? What is your plan for the building owner to make sure they are happy? Because that's how you're going to get multiple deals in a row, which then, of course, we'll talk about the account plan sometime in the future.
And this also relates a lot to engineered specs. Like, how do you become the specified product? So if you're a seller working for a manufacturer or a salesperson who is trying to get specified with a architect, engineer, somebody doing that level of work, this is key because you're trying to understand not only how to sell the architect or engineer on the fact that they should put you and your product on the plans that there's going to eventually be built, but also to the distributor and the contractor. And so you've got this long tail of how to win the deal. And I love that Sean talks about sales hypothesis. It's just your opinion about who's going to buy, who it's going to benefit, which may be the different person, and then what are the other related people that could have influence over the deal. So I came out of construction wholesale, and I knew that the manufacturers reps that were calling on me, or the manufacturers that were calling on me, were also calling on architects and engineers. They were trying to create features that created differentiation. Some were ease of installation and operation and maintenance. Some were, hey, how easily can I get the product file and specifications as written and approved or UL stamped into my plans? What benefits do I have to get the deal started? That was just one part of their sales hypothesis. Also, hey, if I'm in Arizona or Florida or Maine, what are the differing weather scenarios that are going to affect how my product is specified? Do I need different voltages? Do I need different temperature tolerances? Do I need different UL stamps or some sort of rating agency approvals to get approved in that area? Universal building code. If any of you are in construction sales right now, when I say universal building code, you probably just drew back a little. Now, I'm not an expert there. I don't want to pretend that I am. What I do want to say is that having a sales hypothesis, an opinion about who's going to buy from you, what they're going to buy, and who it benefits is the main focus, keeping the main thing the main thing. So if I think about just copper piping, I used to sell commodities as well. So the copper that connects the compressor to the air handler, all those things. Copper that connects plumbing to drain lines, all of the things we're thinking about here. When you sell copper, I may be selling to a large mechanical contractor, and that large mechanical contractor has a professional procurement department. Their job is to buy effectively and efficiently and not run out because they have supplies they need for jobs in process or service jobs that come in that they need to do a repair on so they can't be out. All of these things, these commitments I would have as a distributor, or commitments to my stock, to my service levels, to their materials manager, not to the purchasing department, but I was selling to the purchasing department. So I had to also understand my sales hypothesis was I need to have a product at a reasonable price and a serviceable amount of stock on hand so that I could deliver, which also meant I needed to talk about my delivery. So I need to talk about all these things in a value proposition way that aligns with what I think, my sales hypothesis, what I think the buyer wants to buy as a key criteria, a decision criteria, and a decision process.
All of this comes back to sports. So we started this off talking about World Cup, and maybe you don't know anything about soccer, but maybe you know something about basketball. Maybe you know something about football. Maybe you know something about baseball. All of the great players of all time will tell you that they know their competition. There are basketball players, NBA basketball players, they'll say, when that guy shoots the ball, I know exactly, since he shot it from that location, from that angle, I know exactly where the rebound is going to have to be. I'm going to place myself in position so I get the rebound, in case he misses the shot, because I know where it's going to go, because I've watched film. And I've watched film after film after film. I know every one of my competitors. I know all their gives and I know all their takes. I know everything, how they do it, so that I can beat them. The same kind of thing has to happen for you in sales. You need to understand everybody on the court, everybody on the pitch, everybody on the field, so that you understand what you're doing. All of these other people that are in the organization that get benefit from your product, or they hate your product, are people that you need to understand why. Yes, you can do the deal by just going after the buyer, the person with the purchasing title, working in the purchasing manager's position. However, if you really understand how you're going to win the deal, you're going to be successful, you need to understand everybody else that is going to benefit from that product that you sell. And the more people you know, that just logically means you should write them down. Now, you should put them in your CRM. That's a given. But the CRM is going to show it to you as a list of people. And that list of people is going to change from deal to deal to deal as you do transactions at that company. So for your deal plan, just take a piece of paper. And, if this was Kevin talking, he would tell you to pull out a spreadsheet. Take a blank piece of paper and write down all the people and put circles around their names. And now connect them together with lines. Who talks to who? Who used to work at the old company together? How did they get to this job? Who goes to lunch together? Who goes to the bar together? Those people talk to each other and influence each other. So the VP of sales, you wouldn't think ever has anything to do with the VP of manufacturing, but he might, because maybe they both worked at the same company before. They went to the same school before. So now you're starting to do the deal plan. Like, this person is affected by what I sell, and that person's affected by what I sell. And they talk to each other over lunch on a regular basis. They go to the same church. When you start writing all these things down on that blank piece of paper, and maybe you should put it in the CRM too, let's be honest. But as you start writing all these things down, now you've got a deal plan for that deal. And then you look at that and you go, wow, the next deal, I'm just going to rip and replace. I'm just going to copy this, do it again, and I'm going to change the 3 people that changed on this next deal, and then the next deal and the next deal. And before long, your deal plans are becoming account plans. And now when somebody asks you, how do we sell to ABC company? You pull it out and say, these are the 4 deals we did. This is how we interacted with them. This is all the people that influenced that decision and why they influenced that decision. Now you have the beginnings of an account plan by doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 deal plans in a row. And then sooner or later, you barely even need to do a deal plan anymore, because your account plan takes over and runs the entire account. And that is how you start making the tools that we talk about on the podcast all the time, and tools we talk about on B2B Sales Lab all the time. And that's where you start to say, I understand this company, and I can grow with this company. I can get this company to grow with me.
The Two Tall Guys Talking Sales, this 15 minutes is meant for your growth. Sean and I have had wonderful mentors for the entirety of careers, and this is the kind of advice we got. This is the kind of lessons we learned. So we want to share these forward to you. So in addition to doing your sales hypothesis as a part of your deal plan, note that all this rolls up when you have a good big deal. These are the things that end up on your weekly sales meeting, your bi-weekly sales meeting, on the top 5 deals you're going to win, and how you need to talk to your sales leader about other tools or help you might need to win the deal. When we find out that we are not in the first position, or there's something wrong with the relationship, this kind of sales plan, deal plan, aligns with the sales meeting, which aligns with your quota. So that's our 15 minutes today. We hope you're taking away from this that you need to write some deal plans. You need to get ready to be ready. And until next week, when we're back with 15 more minutes of Two Tall Guys Talking Sales, happy selling.
That was an excellent breakdown of what separates reactive selling from disciplined deal execution. One of the most valuable ideas was the progression from individual deal plans into a true account plan. because each opportunity teaches you more about who influences decisions, who supports your solution, who resists it, and how relationships inside the customer actually work. When you preserve those lessons across several deals, you stop rebuilding your strategy from scratch and begin developing a repeatable system for growing the entire account. Your significant actionable item is to choose one of your most important opportunities today and create a one-page stakeholder map showing everyone who may buy, use, approve, implement, oppose, or benefit from your solution. This matters because a CRM contact list tells you who exists, but it rarely shows who trusts whom, who shapes the decision, or where your most dangerous relationship gap may be. Do that exercise today before the demands of the week push it aside and another important deal advances without a clear plan. For help with sales, sales management, or growing your company, reach out to Sean or Kevin using the contact information provided in the show notes. You can also join the B2B Sales Lab, where salespeople and sales leaders help one another answer real questions, access practical resources, and improve their ability to make quota. The link is waiting for you in the show notes. Subscribe to Two Tall Guys Talking Sales on your favorite podcast player, so you are ready when Sean and Kevin return next Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern with another focused conversation to help you sell more effectively. Happy selling!